Hi everybody, this is Miss Scripa. Today is our second day of summer school, and your assignment is about the circulatory and respiratory system. For the first 6 questions, I'm actually going to go through the lesson with you guys. So you're just going to watch this video, and you're going to answer these first 6 questions with me. All right, and then after this video is over, then you're going to learn about what a heart attack and a stroke is, and answer some additional questions. All right. But I am actually going to use a PowerPoint for this. So our goal today is we're actually going to cover 2 systems. So yesterday was all about the digestive system. Today we're going to do both respiratory and circulatory systems. So you probably think about the lungs when you think of respiratory system, and you probably think about your heart in terms of the circulatory system. The very first question that you guys are going to answer on your handout for today is, first of all, just what does this respiratory system do? And your goal of the respiratory system is to help you breathe in oxygen and to breathe out carbon dioxide. So your body naturally makes carbon dioxide, but it's not very good for you. You don't really want it in your body. So your respiratory system, in addition to helping you breathe in oxygen, it also helps you breathe out carbon dioxide that you don't want anymore. All right, so you probably already know that you're breathing in oxygen, but why do we even need it anyway? The short reason of why we need oxygen is we need it to make energy. So that's not just energy if you're like lifting weights or doing something really difficult, it's also just energy to be alive. And be able to move and speak and eat and all of those other things. This kind of makes sense in terms of if you think of doing an activity where you do need a lot of energy, like running really far or something like that, you probably notice that you start to breathe a lot more and you start to breathe a lot harder, right? That's because your body is making a lot more energy, which means that your body needs a lot more oxygen. All right, so when you think about oxygen, we're really just thinking about energy. So that's kind of the short stuff on the respiratory system. We're also today going to be learning about the circulatory system. And it's not just your heart, there are other parts of your circulatory system. But the circulatory system helps transport oxygen and other things around your body to the cells that need it. So it's not just the inside of my lungs that need oxygen, right? Every part of your body needs oxygen. In your big toe, in your brain, in your elbow, all of those body parts need oxygen. So it's the circulatory system's job to get that oxygen where it needs to go. All right, so they're connected. You can't have one without the other. All right, the respiratory system is you breathing in oxygen into your body, and your circulatory system is just moving it around and getting it to where it needs to go. All right. I'm not going to make you guys memorize the parts of the respiratory system for summer school. Usually during the year, this is required, but we just don't really have the time for that. But the main thing that you guys should know is you have 2 different tubes in your throat. So yesterday when we talked about the digestive system, we learned about the esophagus, which is what connects your mouth to your stomach when you're eating. But there's actually a separate tube for air, right? Which is really, really important. You don't want to eat your air, right? And you don't really want food going into your lungs. So when you're breathing in, it doesn't go down your esophagus. It actually goes down something called your trachea into your lungs. Your lungs have lots of things in them. They're almost like a really big sponge, all right? And that tube, when it gets down to your lungs, it splits in half, where one half goes into the left lung, the other half goes into your right lung. And that split is called the bronchi. So bronchi are the 2 big branches that go into each lung, right? So your air is following that path down. That air is going into each lung. It goes through that big tube. And then as it gets farther and farther into your lungs, those branches get smaller and smaller, which we call the bronchioles. So big tube it goes through is the bronchus or the bronchi. And then it goes into these little tiny tubes called the bronchioles. The parts of the circulatory system, again, I kind of mentioned this already, it's more than just your heart. And you probably have already heard these words before, but if we're talking about arteries, they're carrying blood away from your heart. I kind of remember this if I think about A in arteries, A away. right? Arteries are carrying blood away from your heart. That blood is usually oxygenated. I say usually because there are a couple of exceptions. And when we talk about oxygenated blood, that just means blood with oxygen in it. All right, so arteries are carrying things away from your heart. Your veins are doing the opposite. So your veins, I don't have a fun way to remember this, but the veins are carrying deoxygenated blood, right? And you can probably guess it's the opposite, right? So that means blood without oxygen. It's going back towards your heart so that you can breathe that air out. All right. So obviously your heart is really important. That's what's actually pumping and moving things around your body. We're not going to worry about the parts of the heart for this class. But you should also know that in addition to the heart, there are arteries and veins. And that's kind of like the highways that are carrying the blood and the oxygen around your body. Oops, let me see if I can get here. All right. So we learn a lot about oxygen. We talk a lot about oxygen with the respiratory system. And your arteries and veins do help carry oxygen around your body. But you should also know that there's a lot of things in your blood. Inside of your blood, there's not just oxygen. There's also things like nutrients from the food that you eat. There's vitamins and minerals, and there's hormones coming from your brain in different places. So don't just think that it's oxygen in your blood. There's a lot of things in your blood. Yesterday we learned about the digestive system, and the nutrients that are taken out from your small intestine actually go straight into your blood and around your body as well. So I just want to make sure that we don't have that misconception. All right, but that's pretty much it. We're really just focusing on the very, very basics of the circulatory and respiratory system. That should have answered each of the 6 questions in the top section. So if you missed any of them, you should go back and watch it again. I answered them all in order. All right. You should notice that the second half of the assignment was about what a heart attack is and what a stroke is, if you don't already know. So be sure to read that article and answer the last 6 questions. Be sure to send the work to me when you're done. And if you guys do need any help with that reading or with anything else, either email me a question or I'm going to be on Teams at the usual times, 8:30 to 9:30 and 10:30 to 11:30. All right, so try your best and let me know if you guys need any help by reaching out.